Hello all, it's July the 15th, 1972, and I was 12 years old, and I would have been picking up my Melody Maker that week and seeing that it's Purple for the People, being Deep Purple of course, ban lifted for big tour. The ban at Croydon, where they played 2 years ago and where there was some trouble with kids getting on stage, was lifted earlier this year. And a similar ban at Manchester was lifted last September. Also on the front cover we've got Glitter and Lee set for Wembley. Jerry Lee Lewis has been added to the All-Star bill, appearing at the giant Wembley Stadium on August the 5th. This will be the big rock and roll show, which has gone down in history really. Also signed to appear since last week's MM front page story, a chart rider Gary Glitter and Screaming Lord Sutch. Turn the page to the Pop 30. In the singles, Puppy Love by Donny Osmond was number 1. Rock and Roll Part 2 by Mr. Glitter was number 2. Now, call me controversial, but it's a great single. I don't care. You know, it's let's forget who sings it. It's a great song. Number 3, Take Me Back Home, Slade. Number 4, Little Willie. Little Willie.
Sorry. God, every time.
I know, by Sweet. Number 5, Circles, New Seekers. Number 6, Vincent, Don McLean. Number 7, Rockin' Robin, Michael Jackson. And number 8, Sylvia's Mother by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. Number 9, Ooh Wackadoo Wackaday by Gilbert O'Sullivan. And number 10, I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. And in the album chart, what have we got in here? We've got Bolan's Boogie at number 4, Slade Live at number 3. And at number 9, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Men from Mars. I think Melody Maker got it a bit wrong that week. Just think, if Bowie's band had been called The Men rather than The Spiders. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Men from Mars. That's brilliant. Number 16, Harvest, Neil Young. Number 17, Living in the Past, Jethro Tull. That was their first best of, if you like. What else have we got? Number 21, Machine Head, Deep Purple. Number 23, Farewell to the Greys by the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards Band. Number 24, Earthbound by King Crimson. Still has the best version of Schizoid Man on it. Great version, the best without a doubt. Rod Stewart's next solo album, Never a Dull Moment, will be released by Mercury on July 21st. We forget what a huge rock star Rod Stewart was, and I say rock intentionally because he wasn't the pop star that he became. He was massive, absolutely huge. It seemed to be every other week he was a cover star on one of the music papers. Jojo Gunn and Steppenwolf tour set. Jojo Gunn, who made one of my favourite singles of the period, Run, 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 are to make their first British tour in September. It will cover the major towns. Slade, a bit of a row over a gig in Penzance. Apparently they pulled out. They'd been booked some time before. And there was an agreed fee of £500, but right at the last minute they pulled out. It seems that probably they got quite big in the interim period by the look of things. And in those days it doesn't look as if it was an option to upgrade the venue. So a little bit of a fallout from that. Groundhogs had just toured America. There was a festival in Nottingham, the Nottingham Pop Festival, due to appear. Faces, Atomic Rooster, Status Quo, Nazareth, etc. Oh, it's been cancelled. I beg your pardon. It was expected that 10,000 fans will appear and ticket money will be refunded. Reason for the cancellation? We've been badly let down by a number of subcontractors. All too common.
Why does Roy switch off?
It says here, ELO, Roy switches off. And Gemma's just asked why Roy switches off.
I like yellow.
Gemma loves ELO, but she probably wouldn't have loved ELO quite so much then because they were rather different. And the reason they were rather different was because Roy Wood was in them. And the ELO that Gemma loves is the Jeff Lynne ELO. And here, ELO Roy switches off means that Roy Wood is to leave the Electric Light Orchestra and hand over its leadership to Jeff Lynne.
Was Roy Wood the one from Wizard?
Yeah, Roy Wood was the one from Lizard Wizard. Yeah, he was.
King Lizard.
Yeah, he was. And I'm afraid I'm more of a Roy Wood fan than a Jeff Lynne fan. But it said Wood is to form another group, but the move with Wood, Lynne and Bev Bevan is to carry on as a recording group. This is July 72.
I had no idea Roy Wood was in.
I'm not sure. Did the move have any more singles after that, or did it just go straight into Wizard? Ballpark Incident, I'm guessing first. I don't know. This is the trouble with delving in without looking at things in advance. You just have to guess things. Cat Stevens got a new album out, Catch Bullet 4. He was massive, of course. American music scene. Oh, look at this. Here's one for my friend Lynn. What I'm getting out of this Mark Talks Mags thing, there's one person that's liking everything that I put up, and that's my friend from Clevedon, Lynn, who sadly is suffering from cancer. But this is quite poignant really, because Lynn has always been a massive Suzi Quatro fan. Huge Suzi Quatro fan. From as long as I can remember, when I was 12, 13 years old, Lynn was, whereas me extolling the virtues of Bowie, it was always Suzi Quatro for Lynn. And here we've got a picture of Suzi Quatro before her hit. She'd come over to Britain, she wasn't wearing leather, and it says Suzi Quatro, the attractive young American singer-guitarist. Susie, now in London, recording for hitmaker Mickey Most. Also taking an interest is BP Fallon, that's Beep Fallon, star maker extraordinaire. With that combination, Susie can't go wrong. And there's a picture here of Susie with her left hand down her trousers and her right hand up her shirt. And I'm sure there's probably lots of young boys at the time would have liked to be one of those hands. But anyway, there we go. Suzi Quatro before the leather. She's wearing a vest with Sylvester the cat on it. Rather cute, Susie. Vinegar Joe were playing at Bristol's Old Granary. Now there's a venue. We loved that. The Book of Genesis. This is 1972 Genesis, rather than in the last episode of Mark Talks Mag's 1978 Genesis. So we didn't mind them then. Peter Gabriel, bit of a wacko dude. We liked them. Stonewall Jackson, an article about Michael Jackson, the 13-year-old superstar. 2 pages of Paul McCartney from the south of France as he plays his first publicised gig since 1966, in 6 years. The singles. Georgie Fame, Hey Baby is the first one. Don't remember that. Let's go down through them until I get to one I do remember. Oh dear. Frank Ifield. Do you know I'm distantly related to him? Something like 5th cousin, 8th cousin, something like that. Yeah, Frank Ifield. Would be far better if I was distantly related to David Bowie or something, but there we go. The Casuals, Tara Tiger Girl. They were a black country band, weren't they? They had some success in the 60s. But it's just a bit like David Bowie singing the Moves Blackberry Way. Interesting. But I have to say, out of all the singles featured this week, I don't know any of them. 4-page ad for Elton John's Honky Chateau.
Honky Chateau?
Honky Chateau, yeah.
No, honky.
Honky Cat, you're thinking of Honky Cat,
yeah.
Honky Chateau was an album. It was recorded at Chateau de Reville in France, which is where Bowie recorded pin-ups. It was a very popular place to record at the time. Haunted, apparently. Blind date with Gary Glitter. Oh dear.
Oh, God.
We don't really want to know what Gary Glitter thought of the various album tracks he was played, do we? No,
I
we
thought
don't.
there was an actual article about someone
No.
going on a blind date.
No,
with
no.
Gary Glitter. Because I would have wanted to know that.
Don't want someone going on a blind date with Gary Glitter. Yeah, yeah. No, we'll pass that one over,
Yeah,
shall we?
okay.
I think. Okay. American music scene. That all looks a bit boring here, to be honest. Album reviews. Johnny Nash, Nazareth, Joe Tex, Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. H.P. Lovecraft, Sailing on a White Ship. Well, that'll be a re-release shortly. Lovecraft's second album is regarded as a minor classic, but this is a budget reissue. Yeah, this was on Philips International, which was when I bought it. It's a great album, actually. More albums. Richard Thompson. Lord Such and Heavy Friends, Hands of the Ripper. I bought that one. That's a great album. It's got Richie Blackmore playing guitar in it. It's a great album. Mad as a bloody hatter, Lord Such. I think Friends and I saw him at his very last gig. Pretty sure it was one of his last gigs anyway. Yeah, great to see. Jazz scene, no. More jazz, no. And a full page ad for the London Rock and Roll show we talked about earlier. Wembley Stadium, August 5th. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bo Diddley, The Platters, Drifted Coasters, and many others, including Dr. Feelgood without Lee Brillo. As far as I remember, backing Hines, I think. Was it back in Hines? It's back in somebody, but before they ever actually made any money as a band, as Dr. Feelgood. Hines.
There's a band called Hines now. Is that who you're talking about? Sorry.
No. Hines was an early '60s
How
Joe
did you
Meek prodigy.
Spell that one then.
Hines, as in beans.
Oh, I was thinking about H.I.
Oh, you're thinking of Hines, the
Yeah.
Spanish girl
Yeah,
band.
because I was
Yeah, no, this was 1972. They would have been just a glint in their parents' eye, and they wouldn't even been that, would they?
no.
Probably
not.
their parents weren't born even.
Their grandparents. Maybe.
Yeah. No, this was Hines, as in Hines means beans.
Right.
Backed by Dr. Feelgood in 1972. Full page ad for Gary Glitter. Congratulations to our #1 rock and roll star. Great record, shit man. More jazz. Any questions? How does Pete Townsend get that sharp, harsh sound when he plays chords as on Won't Get Fooled Again? How does Dave Davis get the unusual sound on Top of the Pops and Wicked Annabella? Are there any Faces books available? We're 3 students interested in Chicory Tip. How many pop groups does Jonathan King have? Too fucking many.
There's a band called Chicory Tip.
Chicory Tip, yeah, the Chicory Tip.
Is this funny when you can't put a band to the name and you just hear all these names like Chicory Tip?
Chicory Tip, yeah.
It's a bit
Chicory
weird.
Tip. They brought synthesizers to the glam scene.
Okay.
You know, Son of My Father. I
might know them by songs,
You'd
but not
know
the
it.
band names.
Yeah.
Chicory Tip.
Chicory Tip.
Just
Glam
out of
synthesizers.
context, this is funny.
More jazz. Oh, and here's the clothing. Denim shirts, satin trousers, scoop neck t-shirts, singlets, Indian embroidered drawstring scoop necks, original cotton looms, Indian water buffalo sandals, trendy Danish clogs, canvas blazer jacket, loon pants, split knee brushed denim flares, new suede look, cotton looms, etc,
So I
etc.
love that. Like the images.
Yeah, it's great. The imagery's brilliant. Loon pants, £2, plus 20p postage and packing. Faded brushed denim looms, £2.50, plus 20p postage and packing. Fantastic, isn't it? A message from Ray, meaning Ray Charles. Caravan sites, as in sites, S-I-G-H-T-S, and caravan as in the band.
Damn.
Hot Licks. What's going on here? Shanana. Now there was a band. They remember Shiwaddy Waddy, the British singles band? You know Shiwaddy Waddy?
Heard of them.
They
but
all
I'm not a
wore
fan.
drape coats and they were singing rock and roll covers and what have you. Well, they really were a British record company's idea of a commercial Sha-Na-Na. Sha-Na-Na were a late 60s, early 70s American band playing rock and roll covers. Their image was amazing. They looked great. They were one of the big successes of the Woodstock Festival, which for that sort of music just defies belief completely. If you don't know of Sha-Na-Na, look them up. They were just amazing.
Well, in my eyes, no one is cooler than City Lights.
City Lights. Don't bring City Lights in this. City Lights were my brother's band. A local Clevedon band where I come from. My brother, who's 7 years older than me, who I have to thank for getting me into all this stuff at such a young age, he had a band. Yeah. when he was about 18, 19, they had a band called Rock Philharmonic, who were a really credible band, and they were very, very popular in Clevedon and the surrounding area. They wore face makeup before Kiss. They'd go on stage in monk's cassocks. They had a great sound. It was sort of slightly Jethro Tullish, slightly progressive, but really heavy. After a while, they found out they weren't making any money. So they split up and immediately reformed as City Lights, where they all wore lilac dungarees and gingham shirts and played cover versions.
Yeah, but before they were wearing Kiss makeup.
Yeah, they were. They were in Kiss makeup.
They were like the original Kiss.
Yeah, they were in Kiss makeup and monk's cassocks. And overnight, they went to lilac dungarees and gingham shirts, cut their hair, cut their beards, got two girl singers in and did cover versions. And they were making like 300 quid a night. So who cares a fuck about prog rock? You know, it's all about making money, isn't it? Anyway, so that's Gemma's favourite rock and roll covers band, City Lights.
I knew what they looked like.
Yeah, and it's time for a City Lights revival, I think. Folk. Club calendar. Folk again, I'm going to rip these, they're so old they rip. Club page again, Stone the Crows, Argent, Edgar Broughton, Hookfoot, Pretty Things, Mott the Hoople, Mungo Jerry. Oh, here we go, look at this. King's Cross Cinema, Pentonville Road. Friday the 14th of July, Lou Reed with Brinsley Schwartz. Saturday the 15th of July, Iggy Pop with the Flaming Groovies. Well, what a 2 nights that would have been. What a weekend. Friday and Saturday. Lou Reed, Brinsley Schwartz, Iggy Pop and the Flaming Groovies. You don't get them like that anymore, do you? Jesus, that's unbelievable. Caught in the Act, Hawkwind. I'm running on a bit here, so I've got to stop, but I would like to read the Hawkwind write-up. At the start it says, do you want to ride the Silver Machine? Do you have any choice? Someone comments that you come to a Hawkwind gig, not so much for the music as the experience. Judged on that level, there's little room for the objective bystander. We'll miss all the rest out, go to the last paragraph, and it says, tremendous, but what does it mean for civilization? That's Hawkwind for you. Music market, onto the last page, the letters page. We've got Steve Miller, Eric Clapton. Not really interested in any of that. So, for this edition of Mark Talks Mags, we'll leave it there. Shall we, Jem? Should we leave it there?
We need to go and see what Boris has just said.
We need to have a go and look and see what Boris has just said. We do indeed. And I need to get back on my beer. So until the next time, see ya.